won't stop till I hear him say,
Warning. The information that we convey in these videos and the content on this page simply provides general consumer information. It is not legal advice or regulatory guidance. It is not intended to sway your personal bias in any way. We are simply just relaying information already available to the general public. We highly suggest you do your own research and draft your own opinion on the topics disclosed in this video breakdown. Without further ado, sit back, relax, enjoy this video breakdown, and if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, consider doing so now. Okay, what is going on, CYPRX advanced YouTubers? Welcome back to the CYPRX YouTube page. In today's video breakdown, I have a very intuitive video for you all on CASPER, CASPER Network, CASPER Labs. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoy these intuitive video breakdowns where I read fundamentals to you guys, I'm going to go over some price action towards the end of the video breakdown, give you guys my recent and updated CASPER price expectations, giving you guys the downside that we could potentially see in the short term, and also my upside immediate targets on CASPER. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. I want to first take your attention to a little tiny video snippet, something to really consider when you're involving yourself into this crypto space. We're going to also dive into some fundamentals. I'm going to read some updates via what CASPER Labs has been doing and working on behind the scenes, and then also some up and coming future events that CASPER Labs is going to be a part of, all before we get into the price expectation of CASPER that I'll put towards the end of this video breakdown. I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. I know I sure did. I dropped some video content for you guys. I know some people really enjoyed that video content. So again, make sure that you are liking and smashing that thumbs up button. It does help boost the YouTube algorithm and push these videos out to more individuals like yourself. So to start this video off, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to play a little video clip for you guys. This guy's YouTube is kind of small, so go ahead and give him a follow. It's by Rect Wojak, but he had an interview with the CEO and the co-founder at CASPER Labs, Monohar. I'm not going to butcher his first name. I have a hard time saying that one for some odd reason. But I just want you to take a second and listen to what this gentleman says. Now, this correlates with the long-term hodler perspective and understanding how early we are in to this cryptocurrency market space as of right now as retail investors. So take a second, listen, and I'm going to correlate this with some fundamentals and show you guys why I am a long-term hodler on a coin like CASPER. With that being said, I've told you guys in the past on my Twitter that I'm accumulating enough CASPER to where if this token even just goes to $1 to $1.50 to $2, which is very realistic for this project, I'm probably most likely going to retire, ladies and gentlemen. CASPER is at such a low price right now and has such massive upside potential in the next 2 to 5 years. Listen to what this gentleman has to say. He's looking for a decade via expectations on CASPER price action. So check this out.
Okay to share that. I've never ever sold a single one, nor do I intend to for the next couple of decades, or a decade at least, which shows you how much faith I have in it. Look, this is a long-term play. It is directly related to the other question. Like, you can, I'm not going to comment on bull run and all of that. All I'm going to say is, look, at the end of the day, the biggest blockchain out there is going to be the one that gets the most enterprise usage. I'm confident of that. Now, I think there's a very good chance that we're that chain. Now, I'm very confident in that, but you can never be 100% sure, right? Like, I don't know if there's a group of like 50 developers who are trying to replicate what we're doing. But as far as I know and what I can see in the market, we're really the most enterprise grade chain and service offering out there. Now,
so real fast, I want you all to take into consideration what he just said. Okay, that is a CEO and the co-founder at CASPER Labs. Massive statement from him. Just to correlate that statement with a little article that I found for you all. Reading the bottom of this article really caught my attention. Again, ignoring all the fluff, just getting to the meat of the article. This article reads, Monohar thinks it isn't just the technical and legal infrastructure of current offerings in the blockchain space that are insufficient for enterprise needs. And you guys heard how he said that they are pretty much leading the way for enterprise grade solutions, okay, at CASPER Labs. And he said that he has a long-term perspective. He's not selling any of his CASPER holdings for the next decade, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys hear that? That is coming straight from the CEO. So take that into consideration as a CASPER investor. This article continues to read, there's also a hype-driven culture that dominates the marketing ethos of crypto companies. The incentive structure is kind of broken too, he explained. Investors get some tokens, 2 or 3 year invest periods, and then people go away. If the protocol is successful and gets hype, people make a ton of money and they go buy cars. It leads to really bad habits. Enterprises hate associating with people who think they are scammy or hypey or like too cool for school, Monahar told CoinDesk. The enterprise sales cycle is very long, he said. Nothing like a mayfly-like cycle of most crypto projects, which means you need to build a company that is oriented for the long term. Monahar said he is currently in it for the long haul. So to correlate that with something that he said in an interview, I love seeing CEOs of projects and utility-driven assets that I personally invest in that have a long-term perspective. I'm a long-term hodler for my long-term bags in the cryptocurrency market. So I would like to invest in utility-driven assets whose CEOs have the same exact perspective. And as you guys saw right there, the CEO of CASPER Labs has that perspective. So again, in my personal opinion, great investment, not financial advice. I know where I'm putting my money in. CASPER right now is below the 6-cent psychological level mark. I tweeted out to you guys, okay, that greed works in both directions, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And you need to understand that. Even this morning, I had a discussion with the CYPRX students in our private group chat, letting them know, because a lot of students are asking, okay, is the market going to go lower? Ladies and gentlemen, CASPER was at 2.5 cents. How much lower do you need it to go? So understand that greed works in both ways. Before we get into the fundamentals real fast, I want to read this tweet to you all. And I said, people that would not buy CASPER at 2.5 cents now have to buy it at 5.5 cents. The cycle of greed and fear continues. That is double the price, ladies and gentlemen. So as an investor, real fast before we get into the fundamentals, you need to take into consideration the money that you have to implement into this crypto space. Take on the risk, understand the risk involved in this market to the downside exposure. And I've told you guys in the past that CASPER is one of those crypto assets where when CASPER was at 2.5 cents, the downside was extremely limited. It was extremely limited. The upside potential is a lot more significant and much higher than it is to the downside. With that being said, and again, that's my personal opinion, not financial advice. So take that into consideration now that CASPER is above 5 cents currently, when we get into the price predictions here on CASPER towards the end of this video. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, greed works in both directions. People that want more downside potential into the cryptocurrency markets, they might not get that, right? I'm not saying that the bottom is in, but nobody knows when the market is going to turn around and flip bullish. We all want to hope for lower price action. Is that a possibility? 110%. But all we know is where price action is at currently. And as investors, we have to be able to react to that on the fly. Okay. Hope in this market will leave you dry. Fear in this market will leave you dry. Sitting on the sidelines in this market when there's opportunity on the table will also leave you dry, ladies and gentlemen. That's something to think about as an investor. So moving on back to the long-term perspective and the potential upside that we could experience, I found this article. Now, this isn't correlated to CASPER or anything, but it's just an interesting article to read. So this article from the Daily Huddle says, after accurately forecasting the 2022 collapse, billionaire Chamath, I'm not going to butcher that last name, says smart money is buying psychological turning point has potentially arrived in the cryptocurrency market. Now, CASPER is an enterprise-grade solution for enterprise adoption. I've told you guys that once regulatory clarity comes into the space, we're going to see massive institutional adoption. And I think that CASPER is going to lead the way in the niche that it's kind of orienting its attention to in this space, right? So to continue this article, it says, about a year after accurately predicting the start of a major crash in global markets, billionaire investor Chamath says another turning point appears to be underway. Not saying that the bottom is in currently. Could we see another leg down? Could we see more bearish pressure or sideways consolidation? Absolutely. When the Fed pivots, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the start of the next market bull run. So in a new edition of the All In podcast, blank, I don't want to butcher this last name, says smart investors with large amounts of capital are re-entering the markets, and this cycle is in the process of bottoming out. So if you're seeing right here that people with large amounts of money, the whales, are entering into this space, and you sitting there as a retail investor are reading this article, right, with capital, whether it's $1,000, $500, $10,000, whatever the play that you have to enter this space with, you need to make a decision. Can you see price fluctuations to the downside with that capital? Absolutely. Are you willing to accept that risk? If you are, pull the trigger, get into this market, because ladies and gentlemen, we are early We are so early. So if you're a long-term investor and you're not an intraday trader or a day trader or a scalper looking to take profit within the next day or week, I'm personally going to go ahead and say that the majority of utility assets, ladies and gentlemen, are 75 to 90% discounted. Why would you sleep on that? I'm just saying, think about it. To finish off this article, it says, when you have patterns of selling, typically, as I've seen in my experience, is that initially it's the algorithms that really start to push a market in that direction. Then you have more traditional fund complexes. That's the hedge funds and the long onlys. They follow suit. And traditionally, then the last group tends to be retail traders. You guys see that statement right there. The last group of investors tend to be the retail traders who buy at the tops, who buy late. Don't be the type of person. It says right here, retail traders are sellers now. But again, this is where organized capital now is finding a bottom. Again, something to take into consideration. I thought that you, as my followers, would like to hear that. Take into consideration everything that I just said about all coins being 75 to 90% discounted across the board. Guess what? The banking institutions, ladies and gentlemen, they're not drawing Fibonacci's on their charts. They're not looking at RSI or MACD or any of these retail trading signals that you guys are looking at on YouTube by these YouTube influencers. They're looking at percentages in the form of discounts. And they see that these altcoins with massive future potential, for example, CASPER Network, it's 80 to 90% discounted from its all-time high at $1.36 as of CoinMarketCap. Okay. So I'm just letting you guys know, again, I know what I'm doing in this cryptocurrency market. You need to take into consideration what you are going to do as an investor. This is from CASPER Network. I love this tweet. Just to reiterate everything that I'm saying to you guys, the transition from Web 2.0, soon Web 3.0, has already begun. We are at the first stage of Web3 adoption. And if you are reading this, you are still in the early adopters phase of Web 3.0. To revert back to what the CEO of Casper Labs said, he is in this space and not selling any of his Casper for at least a decade. That is a massive statement right there to give you the long-term perspective. So a decade from now is 2032. Okay. So again, completing that 2030 agenda, having the long-term, mindset in this crypto space, you again need to determine what type of investor you are, what type of financial situation you're in, and how much money for you personally would be life-changing. Okay. I had a whole discussion about that this morning with the CYPRX students, talking to them about passive cash flow and what can really retire you and the amount of money that you would potentially need to retire yourself as an individual, how much money I know I need per month to retire as an individual, which I am on the cusp of almost achieving. Okay. Moving on, next article before we get into the price prediction and price evaluation on Casper, talking about these fundamentals real fast. I thought that I'd share this with you again, another bullish fundamental article talking about regulatory clarity. Shark Tank billionaire Kevin O'Leary updates crypto bear market outlook, says SEC can spark the next bull run. If we come down here, he says our own operating procedure indicates we can't own more than 5% of the operating fund in Bitcoin. So we also have positions in ETH and Solana and all kinds of others. We're just looking at putting a position on Poland and Helium, which are electric projects around a centralized telco. But the whole point is you simply don't know when these asset classes are going to move. Kevin O'Leary predicts that the Stablecoin Transparency Act bill that aims to achieve regulatory clarity for stablecoins will be a signal that the entire industry is on the verge of legitimization, inviting waves of new capital in. This part gets interesting right here. So he says, I have a personal speculation around regulation. I talked about that earlier. Now, same with me personally. Some people think it's going to be bad. Some people think it's going to be good. Bottom line is these major funds, okay, hedge funds, banking institutions, all these people that have a lot of legal frameworks surrounding their investment, right? They're not retail traders. They actually have, governmental entities breathing down their neck when they move massive amounts of money around. They can't get into the space unless there's regulatory framework, and that is a fact. So this continues that if the Stablecoin Act gets put into law, that will be a signal that crypto will be regulated at some point. Some people feel good about regulation, others don't. But here's a fact to consider regardless of your position. Now this is important, ladies and gentlemen, so listen in. Most of the sovereign wealth funds that I work for as an indexer have zero positions in any kind of crypto. When you ask them if they're going to buy anything, they want the granddaddy, which is Bitcoin. Not to say that it's not going anywhere. I have no opinion on Bitcoin personally. I have 2 Bitcoins, so I would love for it to go on a parabolic run. However, I'm more of a utility-driven asset investor. That's just me. So it says they're willing to put 50 basis points to 1% into Bitcoin. That's a massive statement right there as well, when their compliance departments allow them to. So here's what I was talking to you guys about. They have governmental entities breathing down their neck, making sure that they're not laundering money, making sure that they're not, involved in any type of illicit transaction. So with that being said, they need regulatory clarity to put capital into cryptocurrency, into an emerging asset class. So with that being said, this article finishes off by saying that won't happen until the SEC rules on, is it a commodity or a security? Now, we already know the ongoing litigation with the SEC versus Ripple. Why do you, ladies and gentlemen, think that was put into place? Come on, do the math in your head. It is all set in place by the elites as an agenda. I'm telling you guys right now that if you're asleep to what is about to happen right now, the protocols that are about to run our financial infrastructure, you need to wake up, you need to do your research. Okay. So I thought that I'd share that bullish article for you guys, that regulatory clarity, in my personal opinion, is going to drive this market appreciation much, much higher than it is right now. Moving on, some interesting fundamentals just to share with you guys about what CASPER has been doing behind the scenes. This was an interesting tweet right here from CASPER Network. On October 15th, the team has been working to roll out CASPER 2.0. This is going to be in 2023. It says we aim to empower technology leaders to build powerful and flexible new solutions that drive improved business efficiencies and open new revenue streams. CASPER 2.0 will further enable this process. Here's some of what you can expect from Q1 2023. We also have heard rumors that the Fed is going to pivot in the first half of 2023. We see massive crypto adoption, maybe potentially regulatory clarity and framework getting put into place in Q1 to the first half of 2023. I personally think that 2023 is going to be a great year as a CASPER investor. Just my personal opinion. Again, not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, this one was interesting. Hyperledger announces, and this is kind of old. This was back from September 12th, 2022. So I apologize if any other, YouTubers have covered this. I don't make too many CASPER videos too often. So I thought that I just throw this one in there in case anybody's unaware, but the Hyperledger announces 8 new members, including CASPER Labs. So that was big to solidify that whole entire partnership. It says CASPER Labs, and this is coming straight from the CEO, a leading blockchain software company for enterprise markets, announced its membership in the Hyperledger Foundation, the open global ecosystem for enterprise blockchain technologies. CASPER Labs is committed to de-risking the adoption of the CASPER blockchain technology with enterprise by offering flexibility. And you guys heard the CEO pretty much say that they are the biggest blockchain right now for enterprise grade solutions. Just saying, again, something to take into consideration if you're thinking about adding CASPER to your portfolio. But he says, and this is the CEO, Manohar, joining the Hyperledger Foundation will result in hybrid applications that will advance both CASPER and Hyperledger communities. Manohar, co-founder and CEO of CASPER Labs, the CASPER community will be able to generate quality open source resources that can benefit both projects, while the Hyperledger community will be introduced to the innovative features of the CASPER public blockchain so that new applications leveraged by hybrid solutions can be developed. That's massive. I think that CASPER Labs is doing big things behind the scenes. This is another interesting one right here. Santa Clara, and I'm going to get into this in just one second, the Blockchain Expo North America. CASPER Labs, a leading blockchain software service company for enterprise organizations, announced a release of the CEP 7.8, an enterprise-grade NFT standard for the CASPER blockchain. Again, big things are happening behind the scenes for CASPER and CASPER Network. And this article reads, in just over a year, the CASPER blockchain has been on the rise of a thriving NFT community. I'll take a pause right there and just say that when I got into CASPER, CASPER was in the top 300 cryptocurrencies, okay? Top 300 altcoins. Now it is in the top 100, on its way to the top 50. I'm just going to say that's a massive statement right there to see the progress of CASPER from when I personally bought in. And now that I've been dollar cost averaging into CASPER, it's been a great ride to see the CASPER kind of number go down in the form of where it's sitting at on coinmarketcap.com. Okay, so that's dope to see. To continue this article, it says, including a growth number of businesses creatively employing NFTs to solve core business issues, from improving customer engagement to tokenization IP to open new revenue streams. As the NFT market continues to evolve, it becomes clear that this is about a lot more than digital art. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the temporary interview that I put on the YouTube channel that I did with Amir Casper about CASPER Labs and whatnot and Web3 adoption. And I told you guys in that interview that personally, I think the NFT market space is going to be much more bigger than digital art. It's going to be massive for other industries out there. Okay. So to continue this, it says businesses are realizing immense value from this emerging technology, said Midha, co-founder and chief technology officer at CASPER Labs. While interests in pilots use cases are surging, it remains prohibitively difficult for most organizations to adopt NFTs at scale because they lose the ability to upgrade or otherwise customize them after they've initially been deployed. With CEP 7.8, they can do just that, all while building on the market's most secure and scalable blockchains. So that was a cool upgrade for the protocol, CASPER Labs. Moving on, this is going to head us into the CASPER price prediction and my CASPER price analysis. I just thought that I'd share this event coming up for you guys, just in case, potentially anybody wants to chime in or attend the event. This is going to happen in California, in-person and virtual event on the 17th through 18th of May, 2023 in Santa Clara. And who's going to be speaking at this conference? We have, see here, headline sponsor IBM. You guys already know that CASPER is a partner of IBM. You guys can see down here, Medhar, CTO and co-founder at CASPER Labs. And what is she going to be speaking about? Coming over here, it says you can find Medhar Parkler speaking on blockchain for enterprise on day one. Key presentations, the Blockchain Scalability Challenge. So that's going to be big at the Blockchain Expo North American Conference, okay? Something to look forward to in 2023. Again, CASPER making big moves behind the scenes. Now, the thing that everybody's been waiting for, thank you so much for sticking around up to this point. If you guys are still here, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. I see that in our statistics on the YouTube space, about 69% of you guys are subscribed to the YouTube. 30% of you guys that are watching this content still are not. Take a second, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys are still here. With that being said, let's dive into the price evaluation on CASPER. So to the downside, I've already told you guys that every single time CASPER has depreciated in value below 3 cents, I have added to my CASPER bag. I'm going to hold that mentality that if we do see a depreciation in the value of CASPER below 3 cents, I will add to my long-term bags. I'm sitting on a heavy bag of CASPER right now, so I'm very happy with where my portfolio is sitting at. Personally, I'm not dollar cost averaging into CASPER as of right now. Maybe at a later date, I will show you guys a video breakdown on how you can utilize the CYPRX strategy to dollar cost average into CASPER on the way up. But as of right now, we're on the weekly chart, and the massive price levels that I need to see broken before I can confirm that CASPER is in a bullish uptrend, where I'm going to say that the bottom is officially in for CASPER, and we are going to potentially head back to the November highs to potentially into some type of price discovery where CASPER is bullish, 110%. Those price levels are going to be the 6 cent psychological level, where you guys can see on the weekly chart, we have a potential friction area here that CASPER, in my personal opinion, is going to need to break. If we start to see a break above that, that's the 6 cent and the 6.5 cent psychological level. I even tweeted out to you guys those price evaluational targets. If you guys do not follow us on Twitter, again, make sure that you do so. We give price predictions and price evaluations way ahead of time. I even tweeted out to you guys that we were going to see CASPER come and smash through 4 cents back when price was all the way down here at around 2.5 cents back at the beginning of September. And those price targets have now come into fruition. There's an updated price evaluation in the short term on my Twitter feed. If you guys want to go check that out, again, the best way to follow us on Twitter is to copy the link in the description down below, paste it in your browser, again, because we are shadow banned on Twitter. Now, above the 6 cent psychological level, the weekly high comes in at around 9.5 cents. That is a beautiful psychological level target, where if we create a new weekly leg somehow in some way, shape, or form above that psychological level, 9.5 cents, I'm going to say that the bottom is in on CASPER 110%, and we are most likely going to come back up into the 18 to 20 cent psychological level next. Okay, but these are the two immediate psych levels that we need to be mindful of and pay attention to, where we could see some type of quote unquote resistance or sell pressure pick up on CASPER, where people that bought in at 2.5 cents or below 2.5 cents are going to seek to take profit from their positions. So with that being said, lots of massive movement coming from CASPER Labs. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a proud investor in CASPER and the CASPER network. With that being said, make a decision. Okay, this is something that I talked about with the CYPRX students this morning. Right now, okay, if we just go back to the November highs, ladies and gentlemen, that is almost at 25 cents. Okay, ask yourself, if you have 1,000 United States dollars, let's say, for example, nothing that I'm about to constitute to you guys as financial advice, this is something to just consider. You could either have $1,000 sitting in your bank account collecting dust, or $1,000 cash sitting in your house collecting dust. Okay. With this massive financial and liquidity crisis that we're about to experience, cryptocurrencies are going to be the answer to a lot of the problems that we are about to face as an economy, or as a nation, or as a globe. Okay. Take into consideration the appreciation of your wealth. Okay. How are you going to protect your wealth when the financial collapse happens? Let's just say you were to plug $1,000 into CASPER, and this is what I'm talking about, that greed works in both ways. You could sit there and you can hope for lower price action to come into fruition, or you can take on a risk responsibility and say, I have the money to risk right now, plugging $1,000 into Casper right now, roughly at around 5 cents. If we just return back, this is no bullish hopium, okay? If we just return back to the November highs coming in at roughly around 24 cents, you're looking at an average of 372% gains on your overall investment, okay? So 1,000 plus 372%, you're looking at turning $1,000 into $4,720, ladies and gentlemen. That is not financial advice. You need to ask yourself, would you rather have $1,000 sitting in your bank account, $1,000 sitting in cash, or $1,000 potentially sitting in a cryptocurrency asset that could appreciate in the next year or two, 110% back to its November highs at 24 to 25 cents. In my personal opinion, in the next year to 2 years, CASPER is going to be way higher than that. If I was to throw out any type of bullish Moonboy price prediction for me personally, I'm going to be completely out of CASPER if it ever reaches $1. I told you guys that I'm accumulating enough CASPER and utility-driven assets across the board to where even if we just reach $1 on coins like HBAR, XDC, CASPER, XLM, I'm pulling out of my positions. Personally, I'm accumulating enough to do so, anywhere between 250,000 coins and above. So that's just me. Again, you guys might not have that type of capital to play with. However, I do. And then I'm going to put that money, that profit, into passive cash flow income businesses so that way I can retire. That is me personally as an investor. My, personal portfolio allocation. That is not financial advice. I will always have long-term bags that I hold for 10, 15, 20 plus years for my kids and my kids' kids. But for me personally to retire before age 35, that is what I'm looking to do. Mainly also because I trade the FX markets for the majority of my income. I do not need to rely on any cryptocurrency bull run. I am simply investing in these utility-driven assets that 110% have the potential to smash through $1, that are well below 10 cents right now. XDC, HBAR, CASPER, I told the CYPRX students, all have phenomenal potential to return back to their just November highs, which you could see massive gains in the term of percentages if we just go back to the November highs. So again, that's my price evaluation on CASPER, my price expectation. I will hold a certain bag of CASPER for 10, 15, 20 plus years, but the majority of my CASPER profits will be taken at probably about $1 to $1.50 if I'm being realistic with you guys. All right. 6 cents to 9.5 cents are my immediate short-term targets for CASPER, where we could see, big entities, big whales take profit from. We need to break above these highs to confirm that the bottom is in on CASPER. Again, this is just logic in the form of a weekly chart evaluation. You guys can see that the sell pressure took place here back in March of 2022. We need to completely break above that to confirm that the bottom is in on the weekly chart on CASPER. That comes in at 9.5 cents. Blessings to you guys. The downside pressure on CASPER, again, if we see that DXY strength pick up in the near term coming into the rest of 2022 to the beginning of 2023, then yes, we could see a downside move on CASPER again. If that happens and we drop below 3 cents, I will be loading some more bags on CASPER. Not going to sit here and say that I advise that you guys do the same, but you may want to consider it. Blessings to you guys all. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have some amazing content coming out this week, an amazing interview coming out with a broker that I personally utilize to trade crypto assets tomorrow. So make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. As always, be cognizant, be aware, and I will see you guys in the next YouTube video breakdown.
Won't stop till I hear him say